My wife, who told me it wasn't what it looked like, when I caught her in the act, run out with her affair partner for the hills because I had a powerful argument. Plus updates. Update 1. I didn't believe anything had posted the night I attempted to submit to Reddit since it showed the post was pending moderator approval. But throughout the past month, I've received alerts on my phone regarding the post on a regular basis. I logged in to check the comments on the initial article, as well as a few folks requesting an update. I honestly don't know if things could have gotten any worse for me after publishing. Any guess? I'm sure some will claim what I do goes too far, is excessive, or whatever. It seems that the law agrees with such individuals. This upgrade will delight anti-GUN commentators. So let me get this out of the way first, so those folks can be ecstatic about what I'm up against. I was arrested for conveying threats, felonious assault with a dangerous weapon, and a few minor crimes/felonies. Even though I have no criminal record, if convicted of the charges, I may face up to 25 years in prison. It's unlikely that I'll be sentenced to that long in jail, but it's conceivable. Surprisingly, if I'd shot Marcus and Slash or my wife in a fit of wrath, I'd probably be facing less time in prison. Marcus seems to have confessed to the police rather than his wife. While I was writing my initial piece, he told the officers he was discovered with a married lady. However, he seemed to have gained some compassion from the cops. The deputy who collected his statements was one of the sheriffs that turned up the following day to arrest me. Everything went well since I didn't object in the least. Marcus's decision to accuse me was, in retrospect, a preemptive move, because the court after my arraignment barred me from contacting Marcus or any of his family members. So far, I have not made contact with his wife in any manner, shape, or form. But he achieved a handful of other things by having me arrested. I told my employer of the accusations, which would prevent me from leaving the state. Because my profession is so specialized, they panicked. They waited 2 weeks to recruit someone with the same training and experience as me, but now I'm out of work. That significantly hampered the process of obtaining counsel. Before I could even consider hiring a divorce attorney, I needed to first hire a defense counsel. 2 days ago, I was served with divorce papers. My wife is clearly going to attempt to take me for everything. But we haven't spoken since that night. She's texted and phoned, but I haven't read, replied, or reacted to anything. I'm afraid I despise her guts. I'll never get over it. I'm not going to be able to move on from this. I'm not going to be able to reclaim my life. I've been living at home with my folks. They've been fantastic and quite helpful. But there isn't much anybody can say about the circumstance I've found myself in. Everyone is so focused on the criminal accusations I'm facing and the fact that I'm not going to prison right now. Even after receiving divorce papers, I'm still dealing with the realization that I've lost my wife and that my future has been placed on hold. I've heard my mother sobbing for me in secret. This is ruining both of my parents. They should not be concerned that their son may be imprisoned. They should be focused on their retirement and living life to the fullest. So I suppose I didn't simply trash my own life. But I'll be if no one destroys mine. Most days, I'm cooped up in my childhood room, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I have grounds to think that my wife is supporting Marcus or the police in their criminal prosecution of me. She is not without a doubt blocking anybody. Again, I haven't spoken to her, so I have no idea what's going on in her thoughts. But if she despises me for whatever reason, as much as I despise her, I suppose she's giving me what I deserve. I'm sorry I can't provide a more detailed update. Those who are constantly in the leave and divorce them camp will be relieved to hear that this will happen come hell or high water. I simply don't know whether I'll do it as a free man or if it'll happen when I'm doing my term behind bars. I was chatting to my cousin the other night, and he said something about when I start dating again. He didn't mean anything by it, but it was so perfect that I can't even convey it. Forget what my wife did to me and never trusting any woman again. I haven't even begun to consider it. And then it dawned on me that, if everything else fails, my next date might be with a man called Jerome. My lawyer is attempting to win my case rather than just keep me out of prison. That is very much appreciated, and it is just what I need. But I can't go to jail. If I'm convicted, even if I don't go to prison, my career is over. But incarceration is too much for me. I've been in shock when I switched on the lights and saw my wife nude on top of another guy. This entire situation is becoming worse and worse. I feel like I'm watching a movie, but I can't stop myself, even though I'm disgusted. In my thoughts, this sounded a lot clearer than it seems printed out. But that was all I could do under the circumstances. My life is now in shambles and infidelity is entirely default. Edit. There are various replies to queries and remarks in the comment area. I don't have it in me to write it all out numerous times. In a month or two, someone will offer an update. If it's me, wonderful. If not, things have become bad and are just going worse. Update 2. I'll attempt to describe what's transpired since my last update, despite the fact that I'm sure I'll use erroneous legal phrases and words in the process. However, according to what I've been informed, it's a federal requirement for the prosecution and defense to present all evidence and possible witnesses prior to a trial. There was a reason why my lawyer kept the video of my STBXW and Marcus cheating hidden. It wasn't a trial, but more of a hearing, with a judge presiding. My lawyer presented a USB drive as evidence, but the film was on a tablet. To cut a long tale short, Marcus either didn't realize I had evidence or forgot I informed him. I do recall putting my phone aside after filming them before pulling out my GUN. As a result, he and my wife never saw a phone. Because he declined to testify, the charges were withdrawn. His father is a business entrepreneur and a former judge. He couldn't have it put into evidence and viewed by the public during a trial in which his name was linked, so I genuinely escaped with my life. My lawyer is fairly positive she could have persuaded a jury to convict me. However, the absence of accusations or a trial is preferable. Marcus exited the courtroom before I could. As soon as I switched on my phone, I received alerts about missed messages and calls from a strange number that I mistook for my wife. Because I didn't read or listen to anything, I didn't react to anything, but I was certain she just discovered I had video proof. She was either attempting to make peace or waging war. Her lawyer might consult with my lawyer. No, I haven't communicated with her in any way, shape, or form. I knew she was dead to me the instant I caught her cheating on me. If I want to communicate with the dead, I'll have a seance. I have a highly respected divorce attorney, and he was the first person I tried to contact once the charges were dismissed. Obviously, the video will be required in divorce court, so I won't be able to show it to Marcus' wife. In any case, not yet. I'd imagine she'd find out via the grapevine, but who knows? He most likely prepared a preemptive strike and informed his wife anything just in case. But I doubt he gave a complete confession. My folks were overjoyed. I contacted them while they were on vacation to inform them of the fantastic, unexpected news. We were all anticipating the case to go to trial. Nobody anticipated the hearing to be the end of the criminal case. Now I'm concentrating on divorce, and my lawyer has my wife's divorce documents. It's not going to be as easy as my STBXW anticipated. She is now residing in the home. That puts me at a disadvantage, but my lawyer is attempting to mitigate the situation with some papers. I don't want to live in that home again. After seeing what I witnessed, I'd never want to live there again. In addition, I've heard it needs some repairs and new appliances. But, to be honest, I don't want it for her either. With property prices skyrocketing, I'd want to sell it altogether, along with the land. She shouldn't receive it if only because she was the one who ended the marriage. She should have kept her legs locked if she intended to stay there. Actions have consequences, and if she thinks obtaining some odd D is worth losing a property for, she shouldn't be in real estate. On the work front, I want to utilize the following week to either reclaim my previous position or find a new one. I don't want to fire anybody, particularly in such a specialist sector. But now I'm forced to hire attorneys to accomplish things I never wanted to do before. I know whomever replaces me will lack my expertise and knowledge, as well as my familiarity with the team. I don't believe I'll be jobless for long anyway. I never imagined I'd say I'm looking forward to getting back to work. The previous few months, however, have not been a holiday. I simply need something to concentrate on other than the divorce right now, and I'd want to forget about that messed up night. I'm undoubtedly fortunate that I'm not dead, and I'm even more fortunate that I'm not imprisoned, but the whole scenario irritates me. Not only the money squandered on legal expenses, the squandered time, the statements I thought were true but now realize were falsehoods, the deceit. I couldn't have known her if I hadn't met her, and the fact that I acted like a fool in front of someone I'd never met is upsetting. I mean, if you want to go postal and beat the out of someone over a deserving, devoted, and loving lady, go ahead. But to go berserk for someone who lied and never cared, it's not worth a single punch, and it's definitely not worth the GUN fire. Learn from my error, it's not worth it. But yes, if individuals could simply be honest with themselves and others, the world would be a better place. My STBXW is always attempting to communicate. Before she surrendered any part of herself to another guy, she needed to connect. I'd want to start anew someplace close to my parents but far enough away that I don't run across my STBXW or her AP. I despise large cities, but tiny communities have their own kind of ugliness. I earn a lot of money. I did and will continue to do so. After the previous several months, the idea of starting over with fresh things seems quite enticing. I can't think of someplace else I'd rather live. I simply know I don't want to live here. I'm happy we didn't have children, since this would have been a far worse experience. It's so nice to be able to ghost her and go on without a kid always linking everyone. And I adore children. One day, I want to have children. But, thank God, I didn't have any with a lady who was capable of doing that to me. At the very least, I know I can have a life and a work again. I'm having a bad time with this thing called life right now, but the fact that I have freedom and opportunity gives me optimism. I can let her go as a great blunder in my life, a tragedy of epic proportions. After all of this and what I did, I know I need treatment. I have a 2-week appointment to begin individual therapy. I already know I'm going to be slammed for my rage problems, but I need to hear it. And I need someone to assist me in putting my life back together after everything fell apart. I appreciate the counsel that has been offered to me here. I appreciate the positive feedback, as well as the negative feedback. I accept that what I did was a mistake. I can only improve myself in the future. I can't alter who I was in the past.